O popozão, o popozão no chão, o popozão no chão, o popozão no chão.
From moments of brilliance, skill, and breathtaking excitement that make it a game of giants, to seeing some of the most disgraceful incidents ever to unfold in sports. Moments of total disregard for the sanctity of the game, such as players' reckless on-field behavior down to match-fixing scandals. Today's video is all about counting down the 10 most disrespectful moments in football history. Subscribe and hit the notification bell not to miss more of these surprise stories of football. Number 10. Saul Campbell moved from Spurs to Arsenal. Probably one of the most talked about transfers even to this day in football history would be Saul Campbell's shock move from Tottenham Hotspur to bitter rivals Arsenal in 2001. Just days before his departure, Campbell had still told Spurs supporters that he was going nowhere before making his switch on a Bosman ruling to Arsenal. To the Tottenham fans, this was a big act of backstabbing on the part of their former captain. The transfer had giant fallouts. Campbell was labeled a traitor and was always heckled and insulted with much more in each game he ever played against Spurs. Number 9. Germany and Austria's 1982 World Cup scandal. It was during the 1982 World Cup that an extremely evident act of disrespect to the sport's equity occurred. This match was in a group stage between West Germany and Austria, where a certain result would see them both through at the expense of Algeria, who had already surprised Germany earlier in the stages of the tournament. A German opening goal was followed by both teams distinctly ceasing to play the game for the remainder of the match. There was pointless passing, with no attempt to work goals. Fans and observers who followed the comical way in which it was played out were outraged, calling it a blatant sham in the competition. Number 8. Frank Rijkaard spits at Rudi Voller. The 1990 World Cup match between the Netherlands and Germany will forever go down in infamy, and all courtesy of Frank Rijkaard. Rijkaard spat on the German player Rudi Voller in the game after the foul, not once but twice. Already the two teams were very tense as they had a rather intense rivalry, yet what Rijkaard did was not appropriate at all. Spitting is considered in every corner of the world one of the most demeaning acts any person could go for, and Rijkaard's behavior took attention away from what otherwise was a hard game. Number 7. Hadji Diouf spitting incidents. Hadji Diouf is a retired footballer from the Senegal national team who is mostly regarded as one of the most disrespectful people the football world has ever encountered. This was mainly because of his spitting habit on other players and fans as well. One famous case included him spitting at the Celtic fans during a UEFA Cup match while playing with Liverpool, spitting at opponents like Portsmouth's Arjun Desiu, and a Blackpool fan while playing for Doncaster, both not singular offenses for Diouf, who committed them more than a few times in his career. Number 6. Referee diving. Diving in most instances has always been a much criticized part of modern day football, but when a referee acts to dive, then that comes off as all the more disrespectful. Of late, it was the lower league match that drew the major talking point across the world for the wrong reasons when the referee, after minor contact with a player, fell dramatically onto the floor. Such a melodramatic reaction, evoking both laughter and annoyance at the same time, because referees are here to keep the game regular, not to join in the drama, which does harm to it. Number 5. Paulo Di Canio pushes the referee. Paulo Di Canio is one of the hotheads of his time during the playing career, and the most famous situation happened with him in 1998 in a game between Sheffield Wednesday and Arsenal. He became angry immediately after his send-off and pushed referee Paul Alcock down to the ground. The push was not strong at all, but Alcock fell in such a way that it looked quite embarrassing. Di Canio's act was a loathsome act of disdain to the officialdom that made possible the functioning order of football. For such an action, he was given an 11-match ban. Number 4. Eric Cantona's attack on a fan. Eric Cantona was a character, but the thing he did during one of those Premiership games in 1995 went farther than what is tolerated, even in professional sports. But he did not just go up through the tunnel. Having been red-carded in the game, playing for Manchester United against Crystal Palace, Cantona kicked out at a Crystal Palace fan who had been giving him incessant abuse with some kind of kung fu style. Insults by this fan may have well been an annoyance, but this just was not decent behavior on Cantona's part. He was banned from playing football for 9 months and had to pay a heavy fine, but this incident really bothered his career in a gigantic manner. Number 3. Violent career of Joey Barton. Joey Barton is regarded as one of the most controversy-prone footballers, and his career is spoiled by football violent conducts on and off the pitch. His list of wrongdoing is endless, and just to name a few, he hit his teammate Ousmane Dabo during practice. He received for that a 4-month prison sentence pending. He ended up serving time in jail for assaulting a man in the city center of Liverpool, and on the field, Barton's antics were even worse than that, featuring things like punching Morten Gamst Pedersen in the stomach. He also received a 12-match ban for violent conduct during the 2011-12 Premier League season at Queen's Park Rangers. Number 2. Zaire's crazy clearance at the 1974 World Cup. One of the weirdest and most debated moments in soccer history occurred during the 1974 World Cup. On a Brazilian free kick, Zaire's Moepo Ilunga began running away from the defensive wall so he could lash out with his foot to boot the ball to safety. The interesting part was that the referee had not blown the whistle for the free kick. That even left everyone surprised. Since then, 2 versions have emerged. One rumor is that Ilunga simply didn't know the rules, which would be an astoundingly candid admission of ignorance at a tournament of that stature. The other, far more plausible explanation lays its emphasis upon the political pressure on Zaire's team. People believed that the Zaire government had said they were not going to pay them in case they lost by more than 3 goals. This is what made Ilunga try and waste time or get a red card to save further shame. Number 1. Luis Moreno kicks Owl off the pitch. A Panamanian footballer who was playing for Deportivo Pereira became famous for a shameful act he committed during a match in Colombia in 2011. That owl was the Junior Barranquilla mascot and had been hit by the ball for almost all the games. Seeing that the bird wasn't going to move, appearing helpless instead of waiting for help or letting the match officials take control of the situation, Moreno kicked it out of the field. It triggered animal lovers, football fans, and the general public. In the end, the owl died. He succumbed to his wounds. What really got to the people was how inhuman his act was. It was referred to as disrespectful to the game, but it was also cruel without any kind of empathy. He was fined and suspended for 2 matches, but the harm brought to his reputation could never be fixed. That's a wrap for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and share, and subscribe to keep in touch with this channel for more footballing tales.